Hello, good people. A warm welcome to you. Thank you for tuning in. This is your host, Mr. T, and I'm excited to be presenting to you another lesson under the series on functions. In this specific video, we're going to be sketching a parabola, commonly known also as a quadratic function. To kickstart, we're going to remind you of what we've already covered, starting with the general equation, which is given by y is equals to ax squared plus q. In that equation, we know that if your a value is positive, then the graph would be concave up. And if our a value is negative, the graph would be concave down. And our q value represents vertical shifts of our graph. Also, the same q value is the same as your y value of your turning point. So the y value of your turning point is actually your q value. We move straight into the first question, where we're required to sketch the graph of f of x is equals to x squared minus 4. Remember, f of x is the same as your y. So if we move on to sketching the graph, we know we need to find our intercepts with the axis. So we're going to start off by finding the y-intercept. But to find the y-intercept, you need to know that x is equals to 0. So we're going to say wherever there is x, we sub in with the value of 0. So we're going to have f of 0, which is equivalent to negative 4. Therefore, the y-intercept, the coordinates of the y-intercept are 0 to negative 4. Notice that your y is actually equivalent to your q value. So just to show you, the y value is equivalent to that q value, negative 4. We've already typed this, but this is just reminding you. We move on to finding the x-intercept. And to find the x-intercept, we say y is equals to 0. So wherever there is f of x now, we're going to sub in 0. So we get a quadratic equation in the form 0 is equals to x squared minus 4. There are two ways of solving this equation. One might opt the route of saying there's a difference of two squares, where you get your two factors as x plus 2 and x minus 2, and you get your 2x values to be x is equals to 2 and x is equals to negative 2, and your coordinates becomes 2 is to 0 or minus 2 is to 0. The other option, which I'm not going to show you here, is to say x squared is equals to 4, then finding the square root both sides, you get plus or minus 2, one and the same thing. Now let's move on to the sketching of the graph. So we need to present our axis, highlighting the main points. You will notice that the axis that I'm presenting to you has the two x cuts, the x-intercepts, and the one y-intercept. Those are the key points that you need to show. Hence, we had to calculate all of them. Then we know that based on the graph, our a value right there, it's actually positive 1. It's a positive 1, implying that our graph must be concave up or it's smiley. Therefore, just sketching the graph, we're going to have a graph in that form. So if I was marking your work, the main highlights there would be the x-cuts, the x-intercepts, and the y-intercept. In general, I just say intercepts. Then the shape of the graph would be important as well. I hope you enjoyed that video. Until next time, signing out is Mr. T. Bye-bye.